We've reached day 7 playing with two completely opposite accounts. One is pay to win and the other hasn't spent a single cent on Clash Royale. So far, the pay to win account has invested around $300 in the game and is at Arena 13. With over 4,000 trophies and an extremely solid deck, and it still hasn't lost a single match. Meanwhile, the free to play account has half as many trophies. And even though this might seem bad, which it actually is, in the previous episode we managed to find a deck that allowed him to progress really fast. When we got to Arena 8, doubts arose and we added the life-saving freeze spell that saved us in the last matches. Today we're starting with the pay to win account, and in less than 5 minutes we unlocked 10 new cards. We even got our first champion chest with 10 ice wizards. Just to give you an idea, those 10 new cards we unlocked with hardly any effort represent almost 20% of all the cards that the free-to-play account took 7 days to unlock. That already gives us a small idea of just how outrageous the power of money is in this game, as it's accelerating this account's progress at an incredible rate. But before we start playing, we have a few tasks to take care of with this account. Since it's the account we spend money on, we were actually wasting a lot of resources. What does the game give us completely for free? The first thing was to claim the rewards from the trophy road. Among them, we got 3 legendary chests that gave us duplicate legendaries and a giant chest that gave us another duplicate legendary. And the grand prize, a king's chest. With it, we unlocked several cards, and among the final choices was the one we really cared about, the miner. Our second task was along the same lines, not to keep wasting resources since I have the habit of not claiming masteries, so I can't progress to the next levels. Wherefore, dealing damage, playing the card, or killing units, you receive gems, gold, or cards. Resources that, yes, we were losing, although after that came the part you guys liked the most, making me suffer. My villain era today, and we were going to spend money, but wisely. The opponents are getting stronger and stronger, so we need a plan to perfect the deck we already have, which has proven to be quite effective, starting by taking out the Prince, a card that, yes, has been useful so far, but hasn't played such a central role. And if you analyze the deck objectively, it doesn't make much sense to keep it. We already have another damage card, and it doesn't have good synergy with our win condition. So far, it's worked because we've won by sheer brute force. But I suspect it won't work anymore in this arena, since the opponents have a bit more IQ, and they're not literally Patrick Star playing this game. That's why we're swapping him out for our newly acquired miner, who we're going to put to work. He has excellent synergy with our spam, witch, and balloon. In other words, with our whole deck, so he'll be perfect for the job. We use all legendary wildcards to make him competitive and also upgrade the goblins and witches with wildcards. After that, we went to the shop where we got more miners with real money, since at level 13 he'll be able to quickly take down range cards that bother our balloon. We went into our first match to put that miner to work, where we started with a standard play we've been repeating since Arena 7. But this is where one of my biggest counters to this push appeared, the wizard. That's when we sent our miner to work so we could defeat that evil wizard. Then he tanked the tower, giving me such a huge advantage that it ended up taking the tower. The next match was interesting because it was similar. I once again sent out my overworked miner to take out another evil wizard who was behind a Mega Knight, allowing me to neutralize him. And with that seemingly simple advantage, we got another 3-crown win. We kept climbing trophies, and for the first time, we started getting matched against people who seriously spent money on the game. In other words, losers like me. And this, even though I say it jokingly, means they have a card level pretty similar to mine, which means danger. But generally, their way of attacking was very immature, so there was nothing to worry about. So even if the opponent's cards can go one-on-one against mine, if they're not used well, they're little more than a waste of elixir, which, when added up, end up giving me victories if my opponents make mistakes. It's logical. We're at 4,000 trophies against people who have only been playing the game for a few days or weeks. This means they don't really understand card synergy, or they don't know how to defend properly. Big pushes. Their level is already higher than in past arenas, making matches harder. Typically, someone from Arena 13 would play this way against me. I was the one who took the initiative, because this deck forces me to be constantly offensive and relentless. And what if the opponent managed to defend my first push, which wasn't uncommon? Many times he assumed I couldn't afford to pressure again in the same way, so he tried to get ahead with quick attacks using 1 or 2 cards. The problem is that those counterattacks usually had little or no synergy as time went on and as his desperation increased. I ended up winning in the elixir trade, which usually gave me the advantage I needed to open up the game and set myself on the path to victory. Already in the next arena, it seemed like my journey through Arena 14 was going to be very similar to the previous arena, and I would keep crushing my opponents just like like I've done since the beginning of this account. But in the next matches, that dominance was shaken. We were matched against an opponent with a peculiar name, no tower skin, and more importantly, no clan. Clearly an opponent, a bot, or someone who seemed like one. I started off offensively like I usually do until he responded with the two dragons I liked the least, facing both of them in the same deck and with evolution. My first attack, although it did quite a bit of damage, was stopped, but I knew it wouldn't be an easy match. Luckily for me, the central focus of the deck and its win condition was the useless mustached Electro Giant, so my PAKKA was more than enough. The dragons were really bothering me. My balloon attacks weren't getting through, and together they could do a lot of damage, since I only had the Witch and Cheap cards to defend, which aren't that effective. Although with the help of the Miner, we ended up saving 30 trophies from the tightest match of our entire run, and in the next match, my Latin American internet gave me quite a scare. Luckily, my opponent didn't take advantage of my disconnect window and I ended up winning. After that, my run was pretty straightforward. Yes, it was a bit tougher than before, but without those obstacles. We made it, getting the account to within 100 trophies of one of the game's top arenas. The start of the account that doesn't spend money was surprisingly similar. We started by claiming king chests, which gave us 2 new and irrelevant cards, but not really new, and then moved on to claim rewards from the past Royal. After that, we got even more new and irrelevant cards once again, but new. Damn, yeah, we had used up all our free rewards to improve our deck, and our buddies at Supercell only gave us new cards, which, unlike the rich account, where it's good news because there, by spending money, we can level them up to competitive levels and switch up our decks. But here, what do you want me to do with a level 2 card, tell me? Tell me! So I upgraded PEKKA and Princess from Tore Tori, and I was ready to jump into matches feeling nervous. Our deck had already shown that it struggled against compact, well-defended decks. Was it hard for it to reach the tower? My barrel cycles slowly, and besides that, I don't have anything else that's pure brute force. And here, we don't have any card at a higher level than our opponents, so I'm at serious risk of losing. Partly because I'm terrible at playing this game. The first match brought me my biggest fear, people who use minions. Nah, just kidding. It was that we were up against a guy who had a really strong attack, Giant Witch. And even though I have a counter, I always respect that deck. Well, actually all of them, because I'm terrible. I started by taking down the tower, but he soon answered with a quick, well-executed counterattack. Since I knew I didn't have my main weapon in cycle, although I managed to get by with the little I had. But his constant pressure and a beautiful prediction, I have to say even I praised it, tied the game for him, my praise for his prediction. Or maybe he's just an Arena 8 guy who doesn't know much about the game. It made him get overconfident and he thought he could take down all 3 towers with a giant. At level 5, come on, yes, the attack is strong, but come on, it's only level 5. That put him at an elixir disadvantage, and I pulled out my forbidden weapon to secure the win. The next matches were peculiar. First, well, judge for yourselves. What? Go! If that's what a hog lover does, I can't explain why he made that attack, which left him without elixir and completely exposed on defense. Well, I guess that's what a hog lover does. His way of attacking was weird until the last second when he was obviously going to be completely destroyed. He kept attacking me with just 1 card per lane. This hog lover is unbelievable. It seems like the love for those pink creatures is on the rise. Because I had to play against the evil Dos Sueño, or better known as the 2.6, one of the most annoying decks in the game. Because when played well, it defends everything. And my deck is precisely hard to defend against, right? And as was pretty obvious, he started off like that. The guy was pulling off world-class defense or something. I mean, what are you supposed to do in Arena 8? You should be in the World Leagues, man. But it was all just an illusion, because when I was up against the ropes, I made a heavy push that made the Hog Lover 2.0 collapse. A bit calmer now, we went back to the main menu, just 2 trophies away from moving up. We unlocked the giant skeleton and the skeleton army with enough cards to take it to level 9. The first one wouldn't be useful for us, but the skeleton army serves the same purpose as the guards, so we equipped it and upgraded it to face Arena 9, an arena that once again, so many weird people. We started by winning the entry match of this arena. It was a tough fight, but normal. Then I immediately ran into this little gem. Obviously, he didn't have all his neurons in place, so I made an attack at his same intellectual level. And surprisingly, it worked. That's what I like about this game. There are no weirdos here. Here, we are the weirdos. And I don't understand why it's so hard for them to use freeze that much. For me, we kept climbing trophies against normal people. Apparently normal, who lost in a normal way. So the progress in the jungle arena was relatively normal, but there were 2 peculiar situations. The first one in the 3rd match of this arena. A guy with a strange name who started off scared. It made sense. He knew he was so bad at defending that taking down his first 2 towers wasn't a difficult task. The problem is that when the match was absolutely lost for this guy, he simply decided to keep fighting. Not out of honor, since he'd already lost that. It was awful. Just meant to mess with and annoy me. What a pain. I couldn't 3-crown him, but still mocked him. The second happened when I was 100 trophies away from Arena 10 against a guy who was very religious, even though it didn't seem like it. He started by defending my strongest push with a good wizard and a freeze, and he defended my second attack with total ease. So this guy knew what he was doing. In fact, he waited for me to deploy my second PKK to attack with his sneaky and powerful balloon, which he supported with a freeze. Such a rat. My deck is weak against Balloon, Witch, and Baby Dragon. They're not good against this win condition. And my opponent knew it. With every attack, he destroyed me even more, and to top it off, he defended everything. Everything super easily. Seeing this situation, where he would obviously take 30 easy trophies, he started mocking me. So my only option was to take a risk. I waited for him to waste his elixir to make a quick attack, and for the first time, I reached the tower and won the match. Obviously, we cracked up, I kept climbing, and we reached Arena 10. So on this account, we advanced 500 trophies, 200 less than what the paid account did today. But let's not forget that we unlocked new cards and perfected the deck, so for the first time we got closer than the paid account. It pulled ahead in progress, so that's it. This is where today's video ends. If you liked it, subscribe, it helps me a lot, and I'll see you in the next one.